Now, I ain't one to stretch the truth, 'cept when I'm talking about fishing, bowling, or Barney's bravery. But this here tale? It's about the day music stopped by Mayberry and nearly gave Clara Edwards a case of the vapors. So it was one of them afternoons where the whole town was moving slow, slower than a turtle on a sunbathing break. The courthouse clock was ticking like it had arthritis. Barney? He was at Myers's pond trying to arrest a bullfrog for loitering. Said the frog looked suspicious and had a record, a croaking record. Opie was at school learning fractions, which I'm convinced is math's way of teaching children humility. And me? I was on that bench out front, picking my guitar, working on a song called Your Biscuits Are Dry, But My Love Ain't. Got the first verse done. Been stuck there since Truman. Then I hear this sound. Not a truck, not Gomer tuning his nose, not even Miss Crump reciting poetry to squirrels again. This was music, guitar music. Sounded like a thundercloud fell in love with a church bell. I looked up, and here comes this fella, tall and thin like someone stretched him out overnight. Wore a dusty suit and carried a guitar case like it was carrying secrets. Looked like the kind of man who's seen things, bluesy things. I said, "Afternoon." He said, "Mind if I sit?" I said, "As long as you don't mind this bench being officially sponsored by Splinters." He sat like he'd been born sitting, took out this guitar that looked like it had been through a war and came out humming, and he starts playing. And Mayberry froze. Clara's sewing needle stopped like it hit a red light. Floyd's clippers shut off mid-buzz, left Mr. Peterson with a haircut so uneven it could only be described as artistic confusion. Otis looked up, blinked twice, and said, "Am I dreaming, or is that chicken playing itself?" The music was something. Sounded like heartbreak and hope were playing tag on a front porch. I joined in on rhythm, real soft, like when you're trying to sneak a pickle from Aunt Bee's fridge. He glanced over, smiled like he just found a dime in his shoe, and said, "You keep good time, Sheriff." I said, "Well, I do issue citations by the minute." Then Aunt Bee comes out with her world-famous fried chicken and lemonade. I mean, world-famous. It once got mentioned in a letter from her cousin in Winston-Salem. That man took one bite and played a chord that made a squirrel cry. We sat on the porch as the fireflies lit up like backup dancers. I thought, hey, maybe we ought to form a band. But then I remembered Barney tried to join a barbershop quartet once and ended up harmonizing with a car alarm. Eventually, the man stood up, packed that old guitar like it was made of moonlight and memories. He tipped his hat and said, "Gotta keep moving." I said, "Where to?" He looked out toward the horizon and said, "A place I heard about. Might be a myth, might be music, might have biscuits that ain't dry." And just like that, he disappeared, left behind nothing but a memory, and a suspiciously clean chicken bone. I never did catch his name. But sometimes, late at night, when even the courthouse mouse is tapping in rhythm, I hear that guitar. And I know the blues didn't just pass through. He vacationed in Mayberry, and he really liked the chicken.